Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
So let me start this video off by saying to the content creator that I will be reacting to in this video, brother, if you see this, there's no beef. I know how the internet works. I was trying to decide if I even wanted to react to your video or just go directly to Sneako's video, but I disagree with your point so much that I was like, all right, I'm gonna just go ahead and react to your video. I know how the internet works. There's no beef, there's no hatred. This is all in love and respect, bro. I just super disagree, and I believe that the message that you pushed in this video is very harmful. I know you're trying to help, but I believe that it's super harmful to the Black community, whether you're Black American or any other type of so-called Black. I think it hurts to make excuses for the violent and toxic music that we push in our community, and we justify it by comparing it to movies. But let me back up here just a little bit. For those of you that don't know, I covered this a little bit in my last video about exposing Nick Fuentes. If you don't know, influencers Sneako, Myron Gaines, the Tate brothers, Clavicular, and Nick Fuentes, they all went out to Miami, and at some point they were playing the extremely hateful record by Kanye West called HH, where he is glazing Mustache Man from Germany, and they even got or convinced a DJ to play it in one of the Miami nightclubs. Now, my understanding is Sneako has been banned from just about every club in Miami, and I believe the entire group. Again, I covered it in the last video. I said that I believe that their actions were very cringe. I believe it was rooted in hatred. I don't really get the point of why they did it. I don't really know what point it served. And you see Andrew Tate and a couple of others backtracking and throwing other people under the bus because they're coming under a lot of scrutiny because of it.
I think Sneako played the song.
Yeah.
I think Tristan explicitly told me that Sneako played the song.
If Sneako played the song, Sneako played the song.
But Sneako made what I believe is an incredible point about the double standards when it comes to certain communities in this country, especially in music. Well, this content creator by the name of Young Dunn, once again, this is not rooted in hatred. Brother, I just respectfully disagree with you. He disagrees with Sneako and says that Sneako's point is rooted in anti-Black hatred. Interesting. So let's take a listen.
So let's go ahead and debunk this racist anti-Black argument, this scapegoat, this excuse that I've seen Sneako use time and time again. I've now heard Andrew Tate use it. I addressed it in my last video. I saw some people in the comment section not understanding what it is that I was saying. So here's the context. Sneako went off defending after he got banned from the club for blasting Kanye West's banned song with Andrew Tate and others. How about you hear it from Sneako's mouth himself?
Every song that you play in the club, why don't you have to see any clubs apologize when they glorify killing innocent people in Chicago or in New York City? The gang violence. Every single song you hear in the club is glorifying violence. Every single song from a female rapper is about shaking ass and being a whore.
That doesn't matter because H was not banned because it glorified sex. It wasn't even banned because it glorified violence. It's banned because it glorifies racism.
Dog, I don't even know where to start with this. That is an absolute lie. That is not the entire reason why that song was banned. The song was banned because it glorified anti-Semitism / racism by way of violence. So in other words, if you don't mention Mustache Man from Germany, if you do not mention any of the anti-Semitic tropes or what is considered as anti-Semitic tropes, and if you just made a song talking about unaliving anybody from that community simply just for doing it, you don't think that would make a difference? You think that would change something? Of course it wouldn't change anything. It would still be a problem. What do you mean it doesn't matter? But we're going to get to this later in the video. But when you say it doesn't matter, why are we allowed to push music talking about unaliving anyone? Why are we allowed to push music talking about doing things that is destructive to the family? Why is that accepted?
Do you understand? Rappers do not make songs glorifying killing Black people because they are Black. This is what these Sneako's little minions and Andrew Tates and just people with brain rot from being racist fucks. This is what they don't understand.
Everything isn't about racism, bro. It's not just about brain rot. So let me make sure I understand your argument. If you make a song talking about unaliving an N-word, which we know in the clubs for years, this is what's been glorified, celebrated, and actually encouraged. In the music industry, you are encouraged to make music like that. They have literally sweatshops of ghostwriters that make music talking about unaliving N-words. We know who we're talking about when we're talking about N-words. So you're saying, let me make sure I understand. As long as you're not talking about unaliving somebody simply because they're black, even though everybody you're talking about just so happened to be black, that's totally fine. If they are a member of an opposing gang, that's totally fine because it's gang related. Or if they did something to you to upset you, that's why. Hatred is hatred, bro. Gang violence is gang violence. Violence is violence. It doesn't matter what the root of it is. You shouldn't be getting record deals and celebrated and promoted and getting rich off hatred and violence. Who cares if it's racism or not? If it's hatred, it's hatred. If it's violence, it's violence. That doesn't change.
You see, when a black person does anything that they want to paint as negative, one, it represents all black people. Secondly, it's about their blackness, right? And so why is rap music bad? It's bad because black people make it. This is how these people feel. This is what they believe. How do we know this? Because the same criticism that they give to rap music, they do not make these criticisms about action movies starring people like Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise.
What do you need? Guns. Lots of guns.
But because it's a white man, it's fine.
Oh my freaking goodness, bro. Everything is not about race, dog. I understand that racism is real, systemic racism is real, but dude, stop it. This just has nothing to do with race because you know something else? Let's just dismantle and destroy your argument. One of Denzel Washington's greatest films is Training Day. Guess how many black folks or otherwise complained about that film? Nobody. Everybody loves it. Guess what he was doing? He was a crooked cop, was violent. There was a lot of gun violence in there. It was a movie, dog. Music and movies are not the same thing, especially hip hop. If you want to make that argument for pop music, for a Taylor Swift or an R&B artist, you have a better way to do that. Hip hop, rap, we all know that it's completely different, dog. You're supposed to be about what you rap about. We know that. Rick Ross said, I put Molly in her drink. She didn't even know it. We looking at kidnapping. We looking at rape. That was one of the most trending songs for years. So no, it's not just because it's a white person. You just went to Keanu Reeves because he's a white man in the film. But there are other people like Blade with Wesley Snipes who complained about that film with him unaliving people all throughout that film. Nobody, everybody loved the film, bro. It's a freaking movie. It has nothing to do with race. I'm still trying to hear you justify why it's okay to talk about unaliving N-words all day long in our music. Why? In the name of art? In the name of creative, artistic style? Of course not.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's art.
He calls unaliving other black people art. That's not art, dog.
But when black people make art that involves violence, now it's just bad and wrong and degenerate. Why? Because the people who are making it are black.
Dude, name a genre of, no, bro. Name another genre of music that's predominantly white people that is overpopulated with talking about unaliving other people that look just like them, whether it be because of gang violence, because they upset them, or because they simply want to rob them, or because they're poor and they need things. Name it. You can't. This isn't about justifying white people because I think rock is one of the most demonic genres of music ever created. Guess what? There's a lot of people, including white people, that complain about rock for being demonic. It's not simply because they're black people.
Doesn't even have a single lyric in there calling to violence. Here are the entire lyrics for the song HH, right? Hail Hitler by Kanye West. There is not a single line in this entire song where he is explicitly calling for violence. The problem people have with this song is that he is saying, Hail Hitler. He's saying, praise Hitler. Hail Hitler is a phrase that is used, it's a salute to say, I pledge allegiance to Adolf Hitler and Nazi ideology. That is literally the definition of the salute. That is
Young Don, is that not violence? The idea of what Nazism stands for, is that not violence or supporting and promoting violence by definition? You got to break that down for me, bro.
Literally what the salute means. Hail Hitler. That's literally what it means. This song is not banned because violence is bad. It's banned because it's a rallying cry to say, hey, all Jews should be exterminated. This is Nazi ideology. And so when you
That's a violence, dog. Did you hear what you just said, bro? That's violence. I actually agree with you, man, but that's also violence, bro. It's not just simply because he wants an entire group. It's because it's violence and it's hatred. That's no different from making music talking about obliterating an entire block of people. How is that different? It's just different types of violence and hatred, but it's still hatred.
A fucking brain dead idiot going around saying Hail Hitler. You're essentially saying, I believe that all Jewish people, regardless of whether or not they have ever done anything to anybody or not, regardless of whether or not they hold any political power, any financial power, if they're just a poor Jewish person living anywhere, it doesn't matter, they need to be eradicated from this earth.
I understand where you're coming from that. Some people could argue simply him just promoting this mustache man from Germany could have been for a different reason, but being that it's a whole term in itself and it has its own meaning, I will agree with you there. But the argument that you're making to justify the music that we put out and how we talk about harming ourselves and doing all the things that are counterproductive to having a healthy family, why is that promoted? Why is that okay? I'm not understanding that.
This is what you're saying. Now, tell me, what rap songs say that about black people? What rap songs say, oh, black people need to be eradicated from this earth?
Technically speaking, bro, he never said those words in this song. Remember, you can't find that in this song. Instead, you find certain terminologies, right? I believe that
that's not a thing. Now,
I believe that that's a straw man. I'm going to tell you why I believe that's a straw man. If you're making a song like Nardo Wick, Who Won't Smoke With Us? If you make a song I don't like Chief Keef by Chief Keef. If you make a song called Dead B Words by FBG Duck. If you make a song called Dead Ops by Julio Flio, the point is in your lyrics, you're talking about doing things to only one group of people. Only one group of people, and I'm going to prove my point. If you replace one of those lyrics, so for example, many people probably heard me say, I don't like by Chief Keef, and you say, you think that's violent? Hold on. He said a snitch N-word, that's that stuff I don't like. Okay, fair enough. You don't like somebody that snitches. A B N-word, that's that stuff I don't like. Now let's replace that. And he simply said, snitch J-E-W, that's that stuff I don't like. A B J-E-W, that's that stuff I don't like. If Nardo Wick said, who won't smoke with us? I'm trying to F J-E-W lungs up. They be like, Nardo, put them dang guns up. F that. Say, big brother, bring them guns out. When it's smoke, we get to spinning while the sun out. I ain't never lacking. I pump gas with my gun out. Scream out what's happening, get the bus until it run out. All these JEWs get the run until we run out. 762 biggest HEL will knock a JEW lungs out. What if he said that? That song would never get to come out. And if it came out, his career would be over. We know who he's talking about when he's using the N-word, bro. Violence is violence. Why is it celebrated at all?
If you don't like rap music because it has violence in it, you're entitled to that. If you think that it's immoral, if you think that it's
if we think that it's immoral, who would make the argument that it is immoral? Like, how is that even subjective? It is moral to talk about violence if it's only in your music. What's moral about that?
Generate, you're entitled to that. I just hope you're consistent and you don't play violent video games and you don't watch movies with violence.
That is absolutely insane. Okay, let's use your logic against you. We should take down all films on Netflix, on YouTube, and any other streaming platform that talks about the Holocaust. Do you agree? We should take all of it down because it's violent, right? Because if we're going to ban Kanye West's song, we should ban those films too, right? Because to your point, Kanye West never actually said any violent things in his song. He just kept repeating things that led people to believe that he believed in certain ideology. So therefore, in the films where certain ideologies are both promoted and also opposed, we should go ahead and just take that down altogether. Would you agree? Going by your logic. And no disrespect here, but I usually hear this argument from people who are either super progressive or they don't believe in the Bible. And from the content that I've seen, which I like your content for the most part, my understanding is you're more progressive leaning. So this falls right in line with people that typically say these sorts of things. And I know that they mean well, but I do believe that this is a destructive message to be pushing to our young people, especially in the black community, that this is okay because nobody complains about movies.
I just hope you're consistent with that. Or is it only the black music, right? Is it only when black people talk about violence in art that somehow it has this magical effect of making people more violent, but, you know, playing violent video games, that doesn't make children more violent, right?
Oh my God, yes, video games do as well, but here's the problem, bro. It's funny to me that you're constantly making it about race when you know it's not about race, but you can't compare rap music to another genre of music that's predominantly white people. I see that you're dodging that, right? This is a false dichotomy. You're making a false comparison, bro. You're going from music that is overwhelmingly violent by people that look like me and you, and then you're jumping over to movies that involve both black and white people and all other genres of people overwhelmingly being violent in movies and video games. It's not the same thing. But not to sound like a broken record, my ultimate point here is if you're making a song talking about harming another human being, talking about ending the life, what worse can you do to another human being than to literally end their life? Whether it be a group of people that's around the corner because they're a different gang, a group of people based on race, a group of people based on sex, a group of people based on the neighborhood that they're from. Why should that matter? That's all hatred. It's all violence. It's all wrong. You should not be platformed. You should not be celebrated, supported, or commemorated by anyone if you push for the ending of life towards another human being. It's that simple. So clearly there's a double standard here because this song was not only banned, but they're willing to go as far to ban people from cities and nightclubs for playing the song, not actually hurting a person. FBG Duck, King Von, Julio Fulio, a lot of these kids were actually doing violence in real life on top of the music. They were putting what's really happening in their music and living it out. And the record labels was celebrating them for it. And you're comparing it to movies. Did Denzel Washington, did Mr. Reeves, after he was done, go and actually do that to somebody in real life? I don't think he did, bro. What about Kanye West? And I think the song was hateful. I don't think so. His video is pretty long, so I that's essentially the point that he's making. He reacts to other things in the video, but that's it. In my opinion, it's a straw man, bro. Like you're starting somewhere else and you're moving the goalposts. The point is, we shouldn't be glorifying music that is violent. And even if they did something, private businesses in Miami have every right to ban someone. You don't see the hypocrisy in that? You don't see the double standards in that? Make a song and in your words, don't even say anything actually violent in it. You just repeat a phrase that is considered a hateful phrase. But make music that's talking about all sorts of crazy things and violence. But as long as it's about N-words, it's totally fine. In fact, you will be celebrated for it. It's a double standard. It's destructive for our community. And to pretend like children is not the number one target population of the music industry with their impressionable minds, and to pretend that that's not an overwhelming issue in our community, along with other things as well, such as policies, then you're being disingenuous, and this is very destructive for our community.